Hello, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about the work of the UN's Department of Political Affairs. DPA is a central part of the UN's peace and security architecture. As part of our work, we strive to give the Secretary General and the Security Council our best analysis, where there are problems, where these problems could escalate into crises, in order to allow them to play their roles, to help leverage the international community into addressing these problems early on. We want to stop conflict and we want to anchor peace. And for that, we need everyone working together collectively. Thank you.
DPA is really the Department for Peacemaking and Peace Building in the United Nations. So in other words, bringing a peace where there is no peace and then trying to sustain that peace for the long term. The planet right now is bearing an enormous financial load in terms of responding to conflict that's already broken out.
Our role is to act as a mediator, facilitator, to bring all the necessary stakeholders together to try to get a negotiated settlement rather than pursuing military options. It makes financial sense because it saves the global community donors from having to put up money for immediate humanitarian assistance and then later on for recovery and reconstruction.
It's the work that needs to be done in order to ensure peace and security and stability across the globe.
Quand l'organisation a été créée, elle a été créée au lendemain de la Deuxième Guerre mondiale et une des fonctions principales était la prévention d'un conflit.
Those who framed the United Nations Charter saw a world that had come this close to mutual destruction, and they said this should never happen.
If I have your pleasure, may I invite the leaders of delegations who are in favor of the approval of the Charter.
There were many who doubted that agreement could ever be reached by these 50 countries.
Our standard procedure is to exhaust every effort to settle the dispute before appealing to the Security Council as a last resort.
Because of the world in which we live, where conflicts are becoming increasingly regionalized or even internationalized, we can't do this alone. It's a joint effort.
We work very closely with our colleagues on the development side of the House, United Nations Development Programme, with the Peace Building Support Office.
Working with civil society, working with the Electoral Commission.
Non-governmental organizations, human rights organizations, policy think tanks, both at the national level, regional and international level.
Giving a voice to the concerns expressed by all actors.
But the biggest partnership of all, of course, is with the member states themselves. Those suffering the effects of violent conflict and their friends helping them to try and avoid it. We have a number of very important thematic mandates on which we work. Women, peace and security is really a primal one. Electoral support, constitution making, prevention of violent extremism.
Radicalization of border disputes, illicit trade of natural resources.
Les réfugiés, éviter le phénomène de migration, toutes les conséquences d'un conflit. Prévenir un conflit fait moins de victimes humaines. Prévenir un conflit nécessite moins de ressources financières.
But also it really means that people get to live their lives in dignity and to exercise their fundamental freedoms and rights.
I think that there's a new spirit abroad in the UN, a new spirit of working together. We've developed the capacity, and where there's the political will, you can prevent violent conflict. And that's an amazing thing to be able to do.